Hi, my name's Ted Argyle from Warrnambool Martial Arts Centre and welcome to my contribution to the Fitfest project put together by the Warrnambool City Council. My contribution is to simply show you how to use one of those things behind me, a heavy bag or a punching bag. Most people have these heavy bags strung up in their garages or home gyms. I'm just going to show you a few different exercises you can use on the bag to improve your general fitness level. This video is split up into two different parts. The first part is the technical aspect, which is to simply show you how to strike correctly to ensure you don't hurt yourself when you hit the bag. And the second half is a variety of drills and exercises you can do on the bag for a period of a round. So it might be a 1 to 2 minute round or for whatever you specify is appropriate for your fitness level. If you wanted to follow up and do classes with me in the future, you can go to my website, which is adrenalinemartialarts.net. I teach 4 different martial arts disciplines. I teach kickboxing. The version of kickboxing I teach is Muay Thai. I teach self-defense classes, classes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts weaponry. I've been teaching martial arts now for over 30 years and we have classes for children and adults. I hope you enjoy this series, and if you have any questions, please feel free to private message me or email me. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy Fitfest. So before we start hitting the bag, we need to address a couple of safety issues and some equipment that you'll need. Obviously, you'll need a punching bag when you're doing these exercises and drills, and you'll need a decent set of gloves. So you can purchase boxing gloves, bag mitts, or MMA gloves will be fine. Ensuring that whenever you punch the bag, your fist is in a nice, tight, closed fist. You don't want your hands loose in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you're going to cause yourself an injury. And it's always best when you're hitting the heavy bag to start nice and easy, nice and slow, because if we go too hard, too quick, and your technique is imperfect, you're probably going to hurt yourself. So with that said, we're just going to run through a few basic techniques and show you how to execute them on the bag, and then we're going to show you some drills. So the first technique we have is a jab and comes off the lead hand. So as a general rule, if you are right-handed, you will have your left foot forward. Now the best way to gauge the positioning of your feet is if you were to walk and then stop, that's basically where you start from. So your left foot's forward, right foot's back. If you're a right-hander, if you're a left-hander, your right foot's going to be forward and your left foot's back. So in boxing and kickboxing, if your left foot is forward, that's referred to as an orthodox stance. If your right foot is forward, which means you're predominantly left-handed, that's what's called a southpaw stance. So I'm going to work from the right side because I'm a right-hander. So my left foot is forward, fist nice and tight, both hands up near the face, elbows nice and close to the body. The first punch we do is called a jab. It comes off your lead hand, so in my case, that's off my left. So when I'm executing the punch, I take a small step with my left foot, I get the left arm nice and straight, and I need to rotate my torso as I punch. So as I punch, my shoulders and my upper body turns. So again, it's a step, a twist, and then a jab. And again, step and jab from a slightly different angle, step and jab. We want enough rotation there that the shoulder comes up and almost kisses you on the cheek. So when you're executing that in the bag for about 10 seconds, it will look something like this. Now notice there that I'm making a shh noise on contact. That's on purpose. It helps regulate our breathing and helps protect our tongue. By protecting the tongue, we'll get a little bit closer to the camera. So to prevent yourself from doing this, when you hit something, you don't want to be doing that. So you want to try and keep your hands up, chin down, shh on contact. That protects your tongue, helps regulate your breathing so you don't gas out. Now we move on to our second punch, which is the cross or the straight right. So this will be on your dominant side. So if you have your left foot forward, both hands are up in the face, as you execute the punch, you'll take a small step forward. We'll get the arm nice and straight, and just like the jab, you want full upper body rotation as you execute the punch. It also helps if you turn the rear foot towards your intended target. This will help free up your hips and shoulders, and consequently you'll hit a lot harder. So from side on, it will look something like this. So you can take a step, rotate the torso, arm nice and straight, and again, that shoulder should almost kiss you on the cheek. So from the front once more, we step, twist, and punch. Executing that in the bag. The next punch is called the hook punch. This is a close range punch. The first two punches, the straight left and the straight right, are long range punches. The hook and the uppercut are close range punches as a general rule. So when you're executing this punch in of itself or by itself, both hands are up near the face as we did before. If I'm throwing it off my lead hand, my right shoulder will come forward slightly, my left hand will come slightly outside the line of the body. I wind my body up and then throw the hook. Now we're trying to keep this forearm roughly parallel to the floor and the wrist nice and straight to protect your wrist on contact with the bag. So from side on, I take a step, I wind my body up, and then I unwind myself and then execute the hook. With your right hand, because the shoulder is already back slightly, you don't necessarily have to pre-trigger the body, but we just bring the hand outside the line of the body and bring the forearm across. Again, ensuring that the wrist is nice and straight and the forearm is parallel to the floor, opposite hand up near the face. So from side on, here, into the bag. The next punch we have is the uppercut. Now if we're throwing it from our lead hand, we need to do the same thing we did with the hook. So we need to pre-trigger the body first to ensure we can generate enough power. So from here, if I'm throwing the left uppercut, my right shoulder will come forward slightly, my left hand will come outside the line of the body, and to keep things nice and simple, we're also going to drop the hand slightly, although it's not preferred. But when you're first starting, it's a good way to start. And from here, drive your punch up. Now when you drive your punch up, because the punch is going up, it helps if you involve your legs a little bit. So as you throw or pre-trigger the body, also bend your knees. And as I throw the punch, I straighten my legs up. So I've got my legs assisting the hand in power development. So again, I take a step, I drop a little bit, I drop my hand a little bit, extend my body, extend my arm for the punch. So from side on, I take a step, I drop, and then I uppercut. Obviously that's not practical if you're throwing these in multiple sets of other punches. So same thing off the right side. So we take a step, we drop the body slightly, we drop the hand slightly, and bring the uppercut underneath. Again, if you're doing this in a drill with 3 or 4 other punches, you're not necessarily going to bend your knees in that fashion. So again, it's a step, drop, and then an uppercut. Now the bag, because it's a straight structure, we create an angle on the bag so we can uppercut underneath just by pushing it. So if I give the bag a bit of a push, as the bag comes away from me, it's on a slight angle, it's the best time to hit the uppercut. All right, the next exercise we're going to teach is an elbow strike. Now, there's different forms of kickboxing, just like there's different forms of martial arts. The type of kickboxing I teach, which is called Muay Thai, we teach punching, kicking, elbows, and knees. And clinching also, so there's a bit of vertical grappling involved. So with the elbow strikes, they're basically thrown at pretty much the same distance you throw a hook or an uppercut. The unique thing with the elbow is that it's at a fixed distance and there's no padding. So you've got to be very careful when you're executing this type of thing in training. So both hands are up, but that's not really consideration on the heavy bag, because the heavy bag's not going to hit back and you can't hurt it. So as we throw the elbow, both hands are up near the face. I'm simply going to bring the elbow to the side and then I twist the upper body to execute the elbow. Now you need to make sure this elbow is as bent as possible to expose the point of the elbow to the target and the forearm as well if you plan on hitting with that. And you need to make sure you get full upper body rotation on contact. So again, onto the left side, we take a small step, elbow comes up roughly parallel to the floor, and then we bring it straight across. There are different angles, but we're just working on the basics here, and that's a nice good place to start. So off your right side, same thing, so you lift the elbow up, and then we rotate the upper body to execute the strike. So from side on, left elbow, and right elbow. Into the heavy bag for a moment. Okay, now we're going to move on to our first lower body attack, which is going to be the knee strike. Now with the knee strike, this is where our vertical grappling is generally employed, and we're going to show you just one basic hold you can perform on the bag. So both hands are up near the face. As we take a step forward, we reach to simulate clinching our opponent, and we thrust the knee forward. Now the knee doesn't come just up, but it comes forward. So as I drive it, it's coming roughly up on a 45-degree angle into the target. We want to try and keep our target area the front of the knee, not the top of the knee. So again, it's a step and then a drive. Okay? Once more from side on. Now into the equipment, the basic clinch we do is we just basically grab either side of the bag. As such, you'll create a little bit of room, and as you execute the strike, you'll pull the bag in towards your knee. ensuring that you pull your knee back to protect your knee slightly in the joint there. So it's a catch, and then off the left side, same drill. So you catch, we push the bag a little bit to create an angle, and the knee comes into the bag. Now we're going to move on to our first kick, which is called the front kick or the push kick. This is going to be done off the rear leg to start, and then I'll show you how to do it off the lead. Again, there's a whole array of different sets of footwork that you can perform to set up the kick. We're not going to do that today because we're just focusing on the very basics, so you can get started on the bag right away. So both hands are up in the face. The first exercise we need to do is take a step forward. You want to try and get this knee to your chest, and then we push your leg forward. Now, like the knee, it's not coming up, but it's coming in. So the best way to describe it is imagine you're trying to push something or push someone away with your foot. So again, we take a step, lift, and then push. If we're executing off the left foot to keep things nice and simple, you can do one of two things. You can either switch your feet, lift, and then push, or you can take a step, lift, and then push. So again, from side on, I can either scissor my feet, switch, and then kick, or I can take a step and then push. Again, we're trying to push the bag away from us. So I'll demonstrate a couple into the heavy bag. Making sure, of course, that you pull your foot right back and you're trying to put the contact area will either be the ball of the foot or the whole flat of the foot. Do not make contact with your toes because you'll likely hurt yourself. Now we're going to look at the round kick, which is the last striking technique we're going to do before we get into our drills. Now with the round kick, there's a whole array of different considerations and idiosyncratic details that we need to square away before we can throw the kick properly. We're not going to do all of that because we'll be here all day. We're just going to focus on what to do with the lower body. We're going to exclude the upper body more or less completely. So from here, as my hands are up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a step. So my left foot turns on a 90-degree angle away from my target. This helps prevent injury to the knee and to the ankle on rotation. I'm simply going to raise the knee and bring the shin straight across the body. Now, normally when you throw this kick, you would be following through, but just for your safety, I just want to focus on the contact area onto the bag more so than anything else, and to make sure that you're hitting on the right angle. So you want to try and hit this target as flat as possible, meaning you don't want the kick to come up, but it wants to come around here. Now, our contact area for safety is the shin. You can kick with the foot, but because there's so many little bones in the foot, if you're not quite sure what you're doing, you're likely to hurt yourself, especially if the bag is hard or if you're inexperienced. So always make contact with your shin, and as I said at the start of this video series, ensure that you hit nice and slow and nice and safe to start with to ensure that you don't hurt yourself. So again, from the front, I step, I raise the knee and bring the kick straight across. Same thing off the other side. So this time I would step, so my right foot would be pointing a 90-degree angle away from my intended target, and then I simply kick off the left. So into the bag. Now I'm going to share with you 9 drills that you can integrate your punches, kicks, knees and elbows into. I can't emphasize enough the safety aspect. You really want to make sure that you square away the exercise that I've shown you so far, because you're likely to hurt yourself on the equipment if 1, your technique is incorrect, or 2, if the equipment is too hard, so the bag's too heavy and too hard, and number 3, if you're not looking after yourself, meaning if your fists are not tight enough, if you haven't got the correct gloves on, and if you're going too hard and too early. So you really want to make sure you take your time, be gentle with yourself, and let's do some work. So the first exercise we have is what we call 1 to 10 punches. This is just going to be straight punches, so the exercise basically looks like this. You're going to throw 1 punch, just a straight one, then you throw 2, alternating hands, then we go for 3, and then we go for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to demonstrate that one set for you. doing this exercise, you can do it for a period of reps. For example, you might do that drill, say 3 times, or you might continue to do the exercise for, say, a 1 to 2 minute round. The next drill is what we call 1 to 5 punches. This is where you work any punches in any order that you wish. So you're simply going to throw 1 punch into the bag, doesn't matter what it is, then you're going to throw 2 punches into the bag, then we go for 3, 4, and 5, and then we start that sequence again. So it looks something like this. Again, you can exercise that drill. You can do say that 5 times or 10 times, or you can do it for a period of 1 to 2 minutes. Now we're going to go 1 to 5 punches, but we had a kick in between. So the basic template here is I throw 1 punch, 1 kick. It could be a round kick or your front kick. Then we're going to throw in 2 punches, and then 1 kick, 3 punches, 1 kick, all the way to 5. Again, you can repeat this exercise over and over again for a period of reps, 5, 10 times, or you can do the whole thing over a set of 1 to 2 minutes. So it looks something like this. The next exercise is what we call an integrated flurry. A flurry is basically a barrage of punches into the bag, or if you're fighting into an opponent, where it's very hard to defend because the punches are coming in so quick from so many different angles. So as a general rule, in a flurry, you'll throw a minimum of 5 shots. Now what we're going to do in this round is you're going to work, cherry pick any techniques that you want, and every now and again you're going to go into the bag, throw 4 or 5 shots as quick as you can, and then we back out again. I'll give you a brief demonstration. This next exercise is called even Steven. So whatever amount of punches I throw into the heavy bag, I've immediately got to follow up with that amount of kicks. So if I hit the bag twice with my hands, I'm then going to hit the bag twice with my legs. So it looks something like this. If you're super fit and really experienced, you can throw up to 10 shots at a time. A good place to start is no more than 3. This next drill is called left side only. So as the name suggests, you're just going to hit the bag with the left hand side of the body, left fist, left elbow, left knee, or left kick. I'll give you a brief demonstration. This next exercise is right side only. So you guessed it, you're going to hit with the right fist, right elbow, right knee, or right foot. When you're doing any of these kinds of exercises, if you're working for a period of 1 to 2 minutes, you could spend 10 seconds on the left side, 10 seconds on the right side, 10 seconds on both sides of the body, or you could split it further, so you could have 30 seconds left side, 30 seconds right side, 30 seconds both sides. So it's any way you want to put it together. So it looks something like this, right side only. Every now and again, you will have to give the bag a little bit of push with your left hand to create some room if you need to do that. That's completely fine, but the strikes are just focused on the right hand side of the body. This next exercise is kicks only, so as the name suggests, you're just going to kick the bag with your legs here for a period of 1 to 2 minutes. Safety is a real issue here, so make sure you know what you're doing. If you're not sure, really take your time, because it's really easy to damage your feet on a heavy bag if you're not sure what you're doing. I'll give you a brief demonstration. if you know how to do different kicks because you've done different martial arts training before, perfectly fine to integrate those as long as you're careful. The last drill we have is what we call elbows and knees only. So it's pretty common sense. You're just going to hit the bag with the elbow and the knee, ensuring that you're nice and close. You're also going to integrate some vertical grappling or some clinching if you know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. Just hold the bag either side to stop the bag from moving and to simulate clinching an opponent. I'll give you a brief demonstration.